Ladies and gentlemen, what do you think is Moses Kuria's interest in Governor Kawira's impeachment? Because yesterday at night, Moses Kuria released a series of tweets on his official Twitter handle. And those tweets targeted the senators over the impeachment proceedings. And Moses Kuria later on deleted some of the tweets. But those tweets got the senators very angry. And today, the senators actually paused the proceedings to focus on Moses Kuria.
Mr. Speaker, on behalf of the Senate, I want to register my disappointment in the increasingly unbecoming conduct of Cabinet Secretary Moses Kuria, a man who's continually embarrassing the appointing authority and casting serious doubts on the choice ability of none other than His Excellency, the President. Mr. Speaker, sir, that tweet was in bad taste. It paints senators as cheap people who have no cognitive abilities to make interpretation of the matters that are before us and make a sober decision that is in the interest of the Constitution and the people of Kenya. Mr. Speaker, this is the 14th impeachment hearing that the Senate is hearing, and I've had opportunity to vote in almost all of them. I take great exception in the conduct of Moses Kuria, in the tweet that he sent out, and the things that he said about this House and the colleagues that he's listed. In fact, Mr. Speaker, I now agree with members of this House who have brought censure motion before to discuss the conduct of this particular minister, because at every given opportunity, he has done nothing other than embarrass the appointing authority. In fact, it is my submission, Mr. Speaker, that the earlier CS Moses Kuria is let off his duty, the better for this administration, Mr. Speaker. Because every single day, in every action that he undertakes, he continues to embarrass the president and the people. No wonder the people of Kiambu resoundingly rejected his bid to be their governor, Mr. Speaker.
If the conduct of CS Moses Kuria was to be considered, his conduct falls within the threshold of impeachment. If he was a governor and if he was brought to this House, he would definitely be impeached. And Mr. Speaker, I want to urge the members of the other House, because they're the ones who have the responsibility of censuring and sending home cabinet secretaries, to take serious judicial notice of the conduct of this particular cabinet secretary, and this House, through the relevant committee, can come up with resolutions that can then be used to move the other House to discuss his conduct and to have him censured. And I hope that Senator Cheriot, because you've got the ear of the president who's the appointing authority, let us not just complain in this House. Go and tell the boss that this guy is an embarrassment, not just to the government, but to the Republic of Kenya. He is an embarrassment to the entire East Africa. The deals he has done has made Kenya look like a pariah when it comes to issues of supply chain of oil and edible oil. Mr. Speaker, this man must go.
Moses Kuria is an incorrigible national shame. Mr. Speaker, one of the things that I ask myself is just how much embarrassment does the president have capacity to endure?
But what caught my attention was the order by the Senate Speaker, Amos Kingi.
Now, honorable senators, this cannot be a house of lamentations. This is a house of action. Pursuant to the point of order that has been raised by the majority leader, I implore upon you, honorable senators, to use or to take full advantage of the standing orders to bring sanity to some of these CSs. You have the power under the law, more particularly under standing orders, to deal with the kind of behavior that you're complaining about. So, honorable senators, if you feel indeed that the behavior of the CS is unbecoming, then invoke the relevant standing orders. If you listen to Senator Kajwang carefully, you may not be able to have that latitude to make a final resolution to send the Honorable CS home. But your recommendation to the other House will have a lot of weight. So kindly take full advantage of our standing orders and stamp your authority.
In short, Speaker Kingi ordered senators to file a motion to initiate impeachment proceedings against Moses Kuria. But I've been thinking about all these things. And could it be possible that William Samoei Arap Ruto is actually the one behind the senators' moves? That's what I want us to analyze in this video. But before we do that, for those who are watching this channel for the first time, please take a second or two, click that subscribe button so that next time we produce a video like this, YouTube will automatically notify you. And to the subscribers, I want to continue thanking you guys for your continued support. Because without that support, this channel cannot be where it is. Ladies and gentlemen, without any further ado, allow me to dive in. But before I dive in, allow me to also take this opportunity to thank the following people. You are seeing their names on the screen there for the coffee which they sent to me earlier. You can also do the same using the numbers you are seeing on your screen, because it goes a long way in supporting the channels. Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to dive in. Why do I strongly believe that William Ruto could actually be behind the move by the senators to initiate that impeachment proceedings against Moses Kuria? But let's face it, senators cannot impeach Moses Kuria, just as noted by Moses Kajwa.
If the conduct of CS Moses Kuria was to be considered, his conduct falls within the threshold of impeachment. If he was a governor and if he was brought to this house, he would definitely be impeached. And Mr. Speaker, I want to urge the members of the other house, because they're the ones who have the responsibility of censuring and sending home cabinet secretaries, to take serious judicial notice of the conduct of this particular cabinet secretary, and this house, through the relevant committee, can come up with resolutions that can then be used to move the other house to discuss his conduct and to have him censured.
But the first question is, can William Ruto really engineer impeachment motion against Moses Kuria? The answer to that is yes, and the answer to that is no. Let us begin by looking at the no. Number one, Moses Kuria has a lot of information about this government, Kenya Kwanza government, having served as a minister for trade. All deals are normally under that ministry. So he has a lot of information. And therefore, it's not easy for William Ruto to go ahead and fire him. And that's why he can use the senators to fire him, not him directly, because William Ruto had the opportunity to fire Moses Kuria. He didn't. He only moved him. And we are seeing Moses Kuria actually using that move by Ruto to even perform his functions better. Number two, Moses Kuria joined Kenya Kwanza as a principal. He had his party, Chama cha Kazi. So he joined Kenya Kwanza not as a member of UDA. He actually just decided to fold the party after he was appointed to the cabinet. So which means if Moses Kuria were to be kicked out, that would mean maybe some agreement will have to be looked into again. And of course, as a principal, it would really be a difficult task. Who will they be replacing Moses Kuria with? So for me, the fact that Moses Kuria is a principal in Kenya Kwanza makes it very difficult for Ruto to even think about firing Moses Kuria. Number three, William Ruto has been using Moses Kuria to checkmate Rigathi Gachagua. In fact, I've always explained to you guys on this platform that immediately William Ruto appointed Rigathi Gachagua as his deputy, he knew what Rigathi Gachagua could do. And therefore, he came up with a strategy of checkmating Rigathi Gachagua. He appointed Kimani Ichung'wah as the majority leader in the National Assembly. That takes away the political aspect of Mount Kenya from Rigathi Gachagua and then placing it on Kimani Ichung'wah. Then he appointed Ndindi Nyoro to chair the budget, probably to make money and also to be able to allocate some funds for various projects in Mount Kenya strategically. And number three, he appointed Moses Kuria to the cabinet, which means if Rigathi Gachagua were to do ABCD, Moses Kuria would do opposite. And that's what we've been seeing. And of course, the other reason why it's going to be very difficult for Ruto to fire Moses Kuria is because Moses Kuria comes from Gatundu South, from Kiambu. He used to represent Uhuru Kenyatta in parliament. He was a project of Uhuru Kenyatta. And if William Ruto fell out with Uhuru Kenyatta, then falling out with Moses Kuria, I mean, that would be a very bad image. The people of Gatundu might think that their sons are being used. So William Ruto would not want to go that direction as at now. And importantly, Ruto cannot fire Moses Kuria as we speak because of Mount Kenya politics. Moses Kuria has that ability to disrupt the politics of Mount Kenya. But of course, in politics, you can't rule out anything. William Ruto would want to use any available opportunity to fire Moses Kuria and without getting the blame. And that's why personally, when I read the statement, let me just get with my phone. Okay, let me just check for you a statement which was posted by Cherargei on Twitter. Cherargei posted something on Twitter, which is important because Cherargei comes from Rift Valley, and therefore his statement, being a William Ruto alike, he cannot just make this kind of statement. He's saying Moses Kuria is a national embarrassment that doesn't care about respecting anyone, including appointing authority plus institutions such as Senate. But he's not alone. He's in good company of CS Murkomen, who insults, belittles anyone and everyone. But Kuria's only tweets. But Murkomen is worse. He takes the mic and bullies. It proceeds. Bullies, insults, and demean the people and elected leaders, even in funerals. So I think Cherargei is adding Kipchumba Murkomen in this as a collateral damage. But the tweet, in my view, was meant for Moses Kuria. The appointing authority must reign on these rogue cabinet ministers. So he's referring to these guys as rogue cabinet secretaries. Remember, some of these cabinet secretaries who were appointed by Ruto, most of them were actually rejected by the voters. That is the honest truth. Most of them were rejected by the voters. And let me just take you again to what Aaron Cheruiyot posted yesterday. He tweeted one of the tweets by Moses Kuria, and this is what he's saying. Are you really sure you want a fight with Parliament and parliamentarians right now? That was a very important question, which Moses Kuria should read and reread and reread. So William Ruto can actually engineer or support this kind of initiative for political reasons. I'm saying this because, number one, the Aaron Cheruiyot and Cherargei factor in pushing for Moses Kuria's impeachment. There is no way Aaron Cheruiyot, who is William Ruto's close ally, can publicly call for Moses Kuria's impeachment without taking his phone and placing it to William Ruto. We know the Senate is independent, but our Kenyan Senate is not independent. That is the honest truth. The fact that those two individuals called for Moses Kuria's impeachment, in my view, I see the hands of William Ruto in the schemes. Number two, this also provides William Ruto with a golden opportunity to actually fire Moses Kuria without any blame. For example, William Ruto can relax wherever he is, let the Senate proceed with whatever they are doing, then Moses Kuria, Senate will do their thing, submit it to Parliament, Parliament will do their thing, Moses Kuria will be impeached, then William Ruto would not be blamed. He would just remain silent there. I'm sure if it were William Ruto's wish, probably he would have kicked Moses Kuria when he reshuffled his cabinet. So he will get a golden opportunity to let the Senate and Parliament, because you can also see that the Senate is actually united on the call for Moses Kuria's impeachment. So Ruto can take advantage of that. Even the ODM Secretary General is comfortable with Moses Kuria being removed.
Moses Kuria is an incorrigible national shame. Mr. Speaker, one of the things that I ask myself is just how much embarrassment does the president have capacity to endure? And I can assure you that if nothing is done about Moses Kuria, there is more embarrassment coming. That one I can guarantee. Mr. Speaker, what is most hurtful is that even after your communication, the CS who ordinarily should be asleep thinking about how he's going to make the lives of Kenyans better had the audacity to fire off another tweet on material that was presented before this House.
Number three, it will be also an opportunity for William Ruto to actually reorganize his cabinet. The truth of the matter is that William Ruto's cabinet is being accused of lethargy. Most of them don't even know their work. At some point, William Ruto himself accused them of not knowing whatever was happening in their ministries. That you ask them whatever was happening there, most of them do not even know what was happening in their ministries. Why do you think that's happening? William Ruto did not get the best for the country. He got just what would serve his political interest. And most of those guys are no longer serving his interest. So he would want to reorganize his cabinet, which would mean removing some cabinet secretaries, bringing some new people on board, maybe moving individuals here and there.
And my views about the caliber of cabinet secretaries is public. I said it from the beginning. I didn't believe that most of them had the capacity to occupy those offices. I did tell Kenyans that they will embarrass you. It is happening on a daily basis, and it will continue until the day that the appointing authority and parliament realize that, you know, kuna ile urafiki. Yes, you helped us campaign. Yes, you are a good mobilizer on the ground. Yes, we need to see this face in cabinet to represent your people. But at the very minimum, please, can you demonstrate that you know what you're doing in your docket?
If Moses Kuria were to be impeached today, that would be a good opportunity for Ruto to do that. I also tend to think that number four, Moses Kuria's move to be seen to associate publicly with Azimio is another reason why William Ruto might decide to send him home. He can decide to use the Senate to send him home. I'm saying this because even today, after the senators talked and did whatever they did in parliament, Moses Kuria still went ahead and thanked Uhuru Kenyatta for the Huduma centers across the country. William Ruto would always want to take credit for some of the project. Why do you think Moses Kuria would give credit to Uhuru Kenyatta when Ruto himself is not giving credit to Uhuru Kenyatta's project? Of course, there was a time when William Ruto did that. He's yet to do that again. There was even in Mombasa the other day, that bridge never gave credit to Uhuru Kenyatta. Why would Moses Kuria do that? His move to associate with Azimio is not sitting well. The other day, he bumped on Raila Odinga. He bumped on Kalonzo Musyoka. The other day, in quotes, he met with Maina Njenga in some studio. So those moves, if you ask me, William Ruto is not happy with them. And of course, lastly, it could be also our strategy of appeasing Rigathi Gachagua. Because what is Moses Kuria's interest in Kawira Mwangaza impeachment? Moses Kuria is accusing Rigathi Gachagua of being behind it. That is the truth. Again, if you've been following the politics of the mountain, Rigathi Gachagua wants to be the kingpin, Ruto wants to be the kingpin. So Ruto can use this opportunity to tell Moses Kuria, okay, you go. Then Rigathi Gachagua will be happy. While Rigathi Gachagua will be happy, then Ruto can then continue elevating Musalia Mudavadi. I don't know what you think, but that's my take. It will be interesting watching the events as they unfold. Until next time, this is Makwiny. By the way, if you watch the video up to this stage, please let me know by raising your hands. Thank you, and may you have a good day. Bye-bye.